Hi, everyone.
Hello.
AI in real life is in San Francisco, and I have Kevin here with me from GitHub. He's going to tell a few words about himself. First of all, please let everyone know why are we even here today, Kevin?
Yes, we have a wonderful AI in Law summer program, and have like an all-star cast of speakers. Myself excluded, of course. But I feel like I've learned, probably a million things since I got here. And we presented on a nice LLM kind of workshop.
Yeah, it was a great workshop, by the way. Ryan had to go. Unfortunately, we couldn't catch him. So I don't know if those things happen. Bear with me. We're doing everything the first time live setting here. So please let me know if anyone hears anything. There will be a recording available later. Let's hope. So can you say like a few words? I'm not going to keep you. Can you say a few words about your um, kind of your take on the recent trends and recent changes, kind of what are you seeing from your perspective working on GitHub AI software development, how things are going, progressing, given the speed of this tech, every single week there's something else, something new. What should people pay attention to, basically? Like just people, non engineers, just us normal folk.
Yeah, that's a great question. And I think when it comes to GitHub's motivations, we basically want to make it as easy as possible for folks to become developers and work within software. You don't have to become like a professional developer either. Just having fluency and ability to kind of like build capacity in this thing of using computation for useful, valuable purposes, or just plain fun. Right? We think that computers are a lot of fun to play with, and at the same time they can do some really really useful things that it would just be kind of ridiculous to have humans to continue to spend and to toil their lives away on. I think one of the skills that I feel like would be like most useful in this AI age is more just like learning how to learn well. There's just like a million things that you could learn at any one time, and there's barely any time to do it. But I feel like with LLMs, with these AI tools, you've never been at a better time to pick up new skills and try new things and find some intersections between the things that you're interested in, that you're passionate about, and combining them with things like software engineering. Because with being able to play with compute and reasoning, you can do so much more than you could have otherwise.
Yeah. So you, in your previous life, you were an attorney. I mean, still are, or were you just transitioned? That's a very drastic transition, by the way. And now you are as a software engineer.
Yeah.
So from that perspective, to put your attorney hat on, so to speak, what would be the main concern from an attorney's point of view when you're, like you said, yeah, let's, by all means we should play around with those tools, we should experience them, we need to learn how to work with them and integrate them in our lives. But what specifically would be your advice to attorneys who just are starting out? Because we are seeing from the case law, from the recent news all over the place, attorneys are making the same mistake all over again. And I don't need to tell you, it's just checking and verifying the citations, the cited cases and everything under the sun, because that's a lot of the times attorneys just don't do, despite of all the precedent that we've had so far, like for the past 3 years. So what would be your kind of advice? I don't know, some things to just be paying attention to.
Right. Now, like over reliance on AI and automation, that's certainly a understandable and completely valid kind of worry. And I guess the only thing I'd say about that is you'd want to go in, eyes wide open. Like I think it is important to play around with the tools and like specifically to interrogate like the failure modes, because when it comes to many different domains, there isn't a high cost of error in many domains, right? Like you're just playing around, creating these like toy kind of problems and solutions, great. But then when there are things where your bar license is on the line, those are situations where like just like a 1% chance of error is too high, right? And so those are situations where it would behoove you to augment your practice ability using AI, but at the same time mitigating against the detrimental effects by ensuring that you have the mental capacity to supervise everything and port over kind of the in a final checklist to because ultimately it is your bar license on the line when you're providing advice or filing briefs. But I think it would be important for you to gain fluency in like using these AI tools just to see where the failure modes are.
Yeah. Just kind of from my experience and talking to people, from what I'm seeing is, as usual, there are two camps of people who are working with when it comes to attorneys, and they're notoriously averse to experiencing and trying out new tech. Just averse to progress in general. Correct me if I'm wrong. So there are two types of attorneys, right? The attorneys who just jumped right off the bat to it. They're like, I'm using ChatGPT or Claude or whatever just for my work, for everything. The other side is, what's the point of using those tools if I have to check and verify every single step of the way of every single reasoning, iteration or anything like that? So what would you say to the other camp? What would you say to those people? Like, is there even a point to use that technology? It's supposed to augment whatever this means for you, right? My work. But if I have to check and double check and make sure everything is right, what's the point? It's going to take me even longer.
That's right. And I'm sure there are like many tasks where you're just basically manufacturing more work for yourself if you kind of what I might call like YOLO prompting. Like you just send up a prompt to a chatbot and just like you get the output. And it's like, oh, congratulations, you have like 800 more words to review, much of which is garbage, right? And so that is the situation that you probably want to avoid. So you probably want to take inventory of the types of tasks that you perform, and some of those tasks they're going to be again, what I go back to is like high cost of error, right? Like this is the brief that you're going to be filing before a court, like that is a huge cost of error. Like maybe not the best place to YOLO prompt, right? But then there are other things that you do as an attorney to get a lay of the land that it would be advantageous for you to take advantage of the search and retrieval kind of capabilities of AI, especially. The workshop that I led this morning, we went over this exercise of just using the embeddings, the numerical representations of words to kind of lay out the landscape of various analogies that have been put forth within amicus briefs and supplemental briefs and other filings from courts or submitted to courts to kind of showcase create that kind of web or interconnected relationship between arguments that are put forth by very smart people in a way that prevents you from needing to read literally 20,000 pages worth of documents. Instead, just get an overview of the lay of the land. I think that is something where you're not filing this in front of the court. You're more just augmenting your ability to wrap your head around the topic and pursue other lines of reasoning or argumentation that you might not have otherwise come across.
Yeah, yeah. I totally agree on that because that's what LLMs are very good for, is synthesizing information. For example, ChatGPT is deep research, right? When they just came out with it was released back in February of this year. It was like, it really transformed at least the way I did research, because it took me a substantially longer amount of time to just do stuff, just because you have vast amounts of information to go through. As like, if you want to do a deep dive into the topic, right, you need to scour the internet, and you need time to get to those topics. Then you need to, I don't know, organize those topics. Then you need to go through those topics one by one and define for yourself which one would be kind of relevant to your research. And deep research kind of did it for you. So that's a great saver of time. But again, it's up to you how you're using that technology. It's up to you whether you're just using it to cite me bullshit cases versus, I want to augment my knowledge. I want to know more about that topic. I want to do a deep dive into this or that topic as me as a professional, so kind of just the output's going to be on me. So I am in charge of that. So those tools are very great for kind of like if you really want to get better at something, know more of something. So that's how at least I'm using that for, not just for, I'm sorry, just generating some pictures and images of stuff all the time, because to me at least that doesn't really have any value in terms of, it doesn't make me smarter, it doesn't make me learn more or learn more effectively, I would say.
Yeah, that's absolutely right. And maybe analogy uh, that might be helpful is like as you're when you're like filing a brief, that's like you have polished this gold and you're made this wonderfully intricate piece of jewelry, and you're selling that, right? Like you're saying like, hey, this is 24 karat gold at 100% purity or whatever. But then and so that's the kind of thing where like you need to be like spot on in every single facet. But then in the earlier stages of like manufacturing that piece of jewelry, you might just be panning for gold, right? Like you want to like separate the gold from just like random rocks and debris, right? And I think that's the thing where like it's just really helpful to have AI powered kind of search tools. Like this is something where like yeah, like you could go manually and pan for gold yourself, and you might want to try that as well. But like there's just no way you're going to cover as much ground, and you might have some like really shiny gold nuggets that this AI tool provides you that you otherwise would not have come across. And so I think that's the point where you're not so much just like increasing the efficiency of the things that you could already do. It's more just like unlocking capability that there's no way you would have been able to do that previously. Like, would you actually have read 10 billion documents? Like,
Yeah.
probably not. Like, you just run out of time, right?
Yeah, that's how I feel. It's like it gives you an extra set of eyes or ears, it kind of expands your senses to the point I can physically feel I can consume more in a shorter period of time. But again, that's just my personal take. A lot of people, I am pretty sure, not like that. And again, there's this, we're still dealing with this notion of AI being this magical tool, this magical wand that'll just solve all of your problems without you lifting a finger, right? So we have over reliance on those tools as well. And as smart as attorneys are, they're still facing that. So, I mean, is there something you need to, I don't know, on the daily basis as an attorney, as just a person working, just only starting to play around with those tools, there's something you need to keep in mind every day, just as like a closing thought, I would say, because I don't want to, I don't know, keep you hostage here for, for longer. You want to get back to the program.
Of course. Yeah. So going back to what I was talking about when it comes to like learning how to learn as a the crucial super skill of the future, and the current day, of course. It's just that. As you mentioned, like often AI technologies are marketed toward like, oh, you don't have to lift a finger, you can like be on a beach sipping mai tais, and this AI will do like useful, valuable work for you on your behalf. Sure, like I feel like that's probably the kind of the anti-pattern of like how like what should be going on in your brain as you're working with these tools. In fact, like your cognitive load should be higher. Like you should be thinking critically about the what you're seeing from the AI tools kind of output, and all this time that you've spent or that you've saved that you otherwise would have spent like panning for gold yourself, you should allocate that energy toward like critically thinking and reasoning about what is coming out, so that first like you are able to make those mental connections and like learn new subjects more rapidly, but also you can spend more time on the polishing of the gold, these wonderful ideas, brilliant legal kind of arguments that you'd be making, and I think we could like push up the quality output from your job, and so like that's what would really increase the value of your professional kind of career.
Yeah, I mean, that's a sound advice, right? That let's increase the value, not
right.
decrease it, right? Kevin, thank you so much.
Thanks so much for having me.
Thanks so much, everyone, for watching. And we'll be back later today with another live. Hopefully, we'll grab a few more of the speakers. Thank you so much, Kevin, for your time. And I'll see you at the at the conference
That sounds
later this
great.
week, because you're going to be here all week.
Yep, that's right.
So I'll see more